Good morning. It's time for another story. I got this book called 5-Minute Stories, all with Winnie the Pooh stories, and Grandma loves Winnie the Pooh. My favorite character is Eeyore, and not because I'm sad all the time like him, but I think just because I just feel so for him that he's sad. But I love Winnie the Pooh stories, and when I saw this, I thought, oh, I have to have this in my house for my grandbabies. So, the first story is called Be Patient, Pooh. One morning, Winnie the Pooh woke up thinking about cake, presents, and balloons. It's not every day that a bear wakes up thinking of those things, but this day was Pooh's birthday, and his friends were throwing him a party. A birthday party for me, Pooh thought excitedly. I can't wait. Look at how excited he is about his party. And of course, there's honey in his presents. There we go. So you can see all the pictures. He leapt out of bed and looked at his clock. Is it time for my birthday party yet? He asked. The clock's little hand pointed at the 8 and the big hand pointed at the 12. Breakfast time, thought Pooh. That's always a good time. He went to the kitchen and pulled out 3 pots of honey. By the time I finish these, it'll almost be time for my party, he said. But when he licked the last drop of honey from the bottom of the 3rd pot, it still wasn't time for his party. Next, Pooh did some exercises in his bedroom. Once he had finished a round of them, he did the exercises again. And when he was done, it still wasn't time for his party. I'd better go to Rabbit's house to see how the party's coming along, Pooh said to himself as he hurried to his friend's home. There you go. When Pooh arrived at Rabbit's, he knocked loudly on his friend's door. How's the party coming? Pooh asked. Everything's fine, Rabbit said as he opened the door. The party will be ready at dinner time. Can I see my cake? Pooh asked. He looked around. He tried to look around Rabbit. Not yet, Rabbit said, blocking Pooh's view. You have to wait until dinner time. Pooh sighed. It wasn't anywhere near dinner time yet, and the morning had been longer than any other morning he could remember. He sat down on his favorite rock near the stream. He watched the bubbly water racing past. The water must be rushing to a birthday party, Pooh said. Maybe having a little company would help pass the time, thought Pooh. He knocked at Piglet's door and he could hear the sound of paper rustling inside. Are you wrapping my present, Piglet? Pooh asked. Don't come in yet, Pooh cried. He finished tying a purple ribbon around Pooh's present and hid it in the closet. You can come in now, he called to Pooh. What do you think he's wrapping? Oh, I bet it's honey. Can I see my present, Piglet? What do you think we'll do at the party, Piglet? Do you think Rabbit will put pink roses on my cake? How much longer do you think it will be, Piglet? Pooh asked breathlessly. He settled in Piglet's comfy chair. It is nice to have company to talk to about these things, Pooh said. It helps pass the time in a friendly way, doesn't it? Piglet, oh, I'll let you look first. Piglet was trying to decide which question to answer first when Tigger and Roo knocked at the door. Lunchtime! Tigger cried as he and Roo bounced in. Piglet looked at his clock. The big hand and the little hand were both pointing to the 12. Lunchtime, said Pooh thoughtfully. That's a lot closer to dinner time than breakfast time, isn't it? It's right now, Tigger said impatiently. Lunchtime is one of my favorite times of the day, said Pooh. He helped Piglet, Tigger, and Roo set the table. As Pooh licked his last pot of honey clean, he sighed happily. This is almost like a party right now. Oh, no. Let's look at the pictures first. Oh, let me move my hand. Oh, no, said Tigger. A party has streamers and noisemakers and fancy hats and ice cream and... Pooh thought about streamers and noisemakers and fancy hats and ice cream and cake and presents and balloons. Is it almost time for my party? He asked. Oh, dear, I hope not, Piglet said. I promised to help Rabbit decorate. Me too, said Tigger. Me too, added Roo. Piglet, Tigger, Roo hurried off to Rabbit's house while Pooh waited. He decided to wash Piglet's dishes. Oh, that's really nice. By the time I finish these, it will be time for my party, he thought. But when he had dried the last drop of water from the last dish, it was still not time for his party. Waiting is hard, sighed Pooh. Maybe I should ask Christopher Robin if he knows something about it. And waiting is really hard. Let's look at the pictures. When Pooh arrived at Christopher Robin's house, he asked his friend his question. Why does it take so long for it to be time for a party? It just seems long, Christopher Robin said. When you have to wait, the best thing to do is something you really like. What do bears like to do? Asked Pooh, hoping Christopher Robin could remind him. Well, I'm reading this great story about a pirate bear who's looking for buried treasure, Christopher Robin said. Would you like me to read it to you? Oh, yes, please, Pooh said happily. The two friends snuggled together under a shady tree, and Christopher Robin began to read. Pooh forgot all about cake, presents, and balloons. He closed his eyes and saw tall ships, rolling waves, and buried treasure. They were almost to the end when Christopher Robin checked his watch. The little hand pointed at the 5, and the big hand pointed at the 12. Dinner time, he said to Pooh. You mean it's time for my party already? Pooh cried. Christopher Robin took Pooh's present from its hiding place and headed toward Rabbit's house. Come on, Pooh, he called. Cake and presents and balloons. It's time, it's time, it's time, sang Pooh as they walked along together. Pooh was the first one to reach the door, and Rabbit swung it open and shouted, Happy birthday! Inside, Pooh saw his beautiful birthday cake with pink roses, honey pots all wrapped in festive paper, lots of colorful balloons and streamers. Happy birthday, Pooh, his friends all shouted. Everyone was there. Eeyore, Rabbit, Kangaroo, Owl, Tigger, Piglet. Oh, cried Pooh, party time is my favorite time ever. Then Pooh hugged his good friends, Piglet and Christopher Robin. And thanks to you two, he whispered. Waiting was a lot of fun, too. The end. And we'll read more of this book as time goes on.